Yeah, it's the best.
Stuff? I'm gonna set it up.
This one, yeah. So talk like right in there. Let me hear you.
Baby, baby, with the high
Baby, baby. Oh, yeah, should be good. And boom, we are live.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. Couple Casuals Podcast, episode number 17. I am your host, Stefano. And today, I got a very special guest. You may look familiar. You may recognize him from the It's Simple podcast that you've seen me on lately too. My brother, my buddy, Zo. What's going on, brother?
What's good, buddy? Let's
go. Big salute. That's how we do it here.
100%. I'm pumped for this, man.
Let's go.
Waiting.
Couple Casuals. We were supposed to have Maddie C here today, but no show.
Fuck Matt.
I got to give a quick shout out to CandleHand. You see these lovely paws that we got here. Visit them at www.candlehand.com. Use promo code CC10 for 10% off and free shipping. Also, we got a couple casuals on the table here today from Cameron's Brewery. And Cameron also told me to say something, so let me check and see what he said.
I love this, bro. Fuck.
You like it? Do you like the beer?
Buddy, I love this whole setup and the way you do it. It's fucking crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's good to have you here now and see where the fucking thing started. You know what I mean?
I'm taking pointers right now. What we got to do for ours now. Fuck.
And by the way, guys, we got a couple interesting things coming for the It's Simple podcast, so stay fucking tuned for that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, so these beers here, Cameron's Brewery, in collaboration with Couple Casuals today. Just keep in mind, guys, a lot of variety. If you on your first order, you get a free home delivery, free 6-pack on your first order. People can contact Matt at Matt's Lawrence on Instagram. I'll tag it below. And look for Cameron's at your local LCBO and bar and have a couple casuals with a couple Cameron breweries here. And without further ado, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, we got my buddy Zo. Zo, welcome to the podcast. It's good to have you here. You know what I mean? We have started the It's Simple journey not too long ago. And it's funny enough that we were supposed, like I said earlier, we were supposed to have Matt on today. It would have been nice because
it's actually better, bro.
It's actually better. You know what? It might be a little bit better today.
I hate that guy
because you know he gives Zoe a headache. There is an ongoing controversy or what would you call it? Ongoing rivalry between the two. But it's interesting because when he was here on episode 7, I believe, that's kind of where it started, bro. It kind of started when I had him here, and then we had a good chat. Well, it even started before at Early Mercy, and then I met you, and we fucking hit it off right away, bro.
Yeah, no, it was fucking. Bro, it was one of the best things that happened because with the It's Simple podcast, we were looking for a third host, right?
Yeah.
And shout out to Brian. Like, I love Brian.
100%.
Brian's my dog. He helped us start the whole journey and basically kickstart us to where we are now. Yeah. But that guy's famous now. You know, he's chilling in LA. He's fucking has an LA girlfriend. You know that life now, you know?
My buddy Brian is doing good. I remember he was there on the first day too. Yeah. And like kind of from like my perspective, I was like, okay, I didn't know what to expect. But then when I came, bro, I hit it off with you guys right away, and it's been a buzz ever since, man.
1000%. And I remember like Matt told me, he's like, yo, because I've known of you, right?
Yeah, and we see each other mutual friends.
100%. Bro. And I thought you were the brother of Selena and Julia.
Oh, yeah. So you know my cousins too,
yeah, because bro, we used to work out at Express Fitness. Shout out Express Fitness.
Oh wow, classic.
And that's where I met the whole group of people and everyone. And it's you know, so I knew all of them, and I knew of you. I've seen you around here and there. So I was like, Matt's like, yo, there's this guy, Stefano. He does his podcast, this, that, and he's like, yo, I just went on it. It's sick. You know, I think he'd be a good addition. I was like, yo, fuck, of course, I trust you, whatever. Yeah. Then we did that episode, and I was like, you could see in that episode, Matt's sitting right next to me, and I'm like, it's somewhere in the episode, and I look at Matt, and I'm like, we did it. Like, we found what we were missing for. Because in the podcast, like, yeah, you can do it with 2 people. If you look at all the major podcasts, like Impulsive, Full Send, aside from Joe Rogan's a special motherfucker.
Yeah, 100%.
All of them have 3 hosts. Why? Because, bro, to carry the conversations. Excuse me. I just had some food. Sorry, guys. Bomb food.
Yeah, a little. Yeah. We're multitasking today.
So if my breath smells like kebabs, it's just no. But they all have 3 hosts. Why? Because sometimes it gets tiring, or not overwhelming, but it gets. How do you say this? There's always good to have another perspective in the conversation, right? So usually it's always me and Matt talking, right? And then sometimes it's like, yo, we want that third opinion. Like me and Matt together have done, how many episodes have you done with us from season 4 now, right?
Man, one of the things I love about obviously in collaborating with people is like you see, and we've actually we've banged them out, and your guys' work ethic has really rubbed off on me, and I've really appreciated that. But I think it's been at least
20 episodes we done together.
I don't know if it's 20, but it's approaching.
Yeah,
it's definitely because we got Bear in the bank.
100%.
Fucking peeled.
100%. And so it's like, so me and Matt together did 40 episodes, and it gets to a point where like, fuck, like you keep talking, and like I feel like the guest always, the viewer, the listener, you want them to have a different perspective as well. You don't want them to be listening to the same thing that me and Matt have to say. So with you coming in, you brought a fresh new vibe and like energy to it, where I let you carry the conversation sometimes. You put your own input, you have your own knowledge, right? A different perspective from me and Matt. Me and Matt, I've known him for a long fucking time, so our perspectives, our ideas, what we like is very similar. That's why we're friends.
That's a good point, man.
So with you coming on, you mesh very well with us, but you have your own process, your own thinking, right? So that's what, right away from the first episode, I was like, bro, done. Yeah. I was worried. I'm like, bro, maybe he doesn't want to do it.
Oh, really?
And after I'm like, yo, he wants to do it. I'm like, game over.
Okay.
Now officially we have the #1 podcast team in all of Canada. I don't think there's anybody. Yeah. I love you, Ernesto and Anthony. You guys are my dogs. You guys are too famous for us now. So you guys are not in this category anymore. But I don't think there's anybody in this city, in Canada, I'll fucking say it. Fuck all the other provinces, but in Canada.
And by the way, we're willing to fight anybody that wants to fight. If we want to have a podcast combat, we'll do it.
Pro boxer, and we got undisputed, undefeated Matt Kempoli, the #1 boxer. Buddy, who do you want him to fight? He'll fucking take you on, buddy.
Matty C's on the pads, like Canelo can't even touch the guy.
Buddy.
Like
he's training for Jake Paul right now.
He's out there, man, and he's getting. So we're grinding and we're ready to go. We got the dukes up, but the work ethic and the determination and the collaboration of all of us, I think, has been like a perfect combination. So that's been like one of the reasons why I wanted to like have you on here too, so we could show everybody like a little bit of that backstory too, right? Because the It's Simple podcast has been a long going before I even. Kind of even had, like I always thought about doing podcasting, but then even seeing you guys from the outside in, it was almost like a little bit of like a motivating thing too. Yeah. Right. And then to be able to now collaborate with you guys has been such a journey. So guys, go make sure you follow the It's Simple podcast. I'm going to tag everything below because we got a lot more coming.
People, they don't even know what's planned right now. Right. And it's like when we started the podcast, when me and Matt started it, there was nobody fucking doing the podcast.
Literally.
Zero. Bro.
Yeah. And this was 2020 early.
Yeah. This was maybe 1 or 2 people, but nobody doing it. Everyone doing the standard audio version, talk shows, etc.
Yeah.
I've watched every single episode of Impulsive, the YouTube version. Yeah. Not the audio, YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I love that podcast because I love how, bro, it's more than them just talking. It's a show. You see them sitting. You see them all how they sit. It's not like, so that's what I'll get into that after, but it's like how they're sitting. So if you look at our first few episodes, our camera, our layout, and etc. was exactly like theirs. Yeah.
And there was the zooming in,
zoom zoom out, all that stuff.
Shout out Brian.
Shout out Brian. Why? Because, bro, we wanted to make a show out of it, right? Because I feel like I have a good, funny, whatever, normal personality. Matt's very funny. He's hysterical. And we're like, yeah, we can do the audio version only, but then you take away. People want to see the face.
100%.
Their emotions. Right?
100%.
So when we thought of it, we're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So then, from the first episode, I told Matt, I'm like, bro, this is gonna be big, because this is a niche that a lot of people are not. Bro, I've been listening to podcasts for time.
That's what I was gonna ask you too. Yeah, have you?
100%, because I find it to be the best way to educate yourself. Because imagine you have Elon Musk on Joe Rogan. You listen to those 3 hours.
Oh my God, bro!
You're getting information from a guy that has achieved so much. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
No matter who he might be, from whatever business field, etc. It helped me to like wire myself in a certain way that I was like, okay, now I should do this with my business. This is all through podcasting.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, so many people come up to us and like to me and Matt and ask me, how do you make money? How do you do this? Bro, how you guys doing this? How you traveling all the time, et cetera, et cetera. And everyone that knows me personally, bro, I'm not a person that flaunts my life. I don't give a shit, right? I just like to live my life how I like to live. I like to buy good shit. I like to travel. I like to,
But you do work hard, and I see it firsthand.
1,000%.
Both you and Matt. So
And so I like to like, have my fun. So a lot of people are coming up to me like, yo, how do you travel every other month? How are you doing this? How are you doing this? And I'm like, you know what? I mean, Matt, like so many young kids come up to us and they ask us for help and advice and everything. Why don't we create something that can like impact people's lives in some way, right? So that was the whole goal behind It's Simple Podcast from day one, was to like create a platform which helps educate kids, teens, people in their, you know, even if they're in their 30s, whatever age, there's no age, there's no age limit for us, to just make them realize that there's so many people from various fields that are killing it. It's not a number figure that we're talking about. It's just killing it from like, you know, from their own business. It can be like their brand, whatever it is. So that's what I try to take away from, because people think we're always talking about money, money, money. It's not about money. It's about happiness, growth, success, achieving what you want to achieve. If you built your business and you bought your first house from it, that's success right there. You did it, right? So now how did you do that? Someone might want to know that story, because that person, there might be a kid that wants to just buy a house.
Yeah.
But for him, he sees it as this big obstacle, but there's a guy that did it very simply, you know?
And that's how you kind of...
That was like...
Is that where the name derived from?
Bro, it was literally... we told the story a million times, but it's like me and Matt were in Tulum, and it's like we were in our villa, and there's so many mosquitoes, okay? This is like afternoon time, and shout out Matt will know this. So I made the best fucking watermelon strawberry vodka drink I have ever made in my life, okay? Bro, I was in the kitchen for like 20 minutes blending this shit up, making it, and I go to Matt. All the girls were gone, so I was like, Matt, just me and you here. I'm like, bro, I made us some cool little drinks. He's like, bro, what is this? I'm like, bro, just try it. He tries it. He's like, bro, this is amazing. So we had a whole jug, and we're like, bro, we're going to kill it, me and you. So we're in the pool. Every time someone wanted to say something, anytime someone wanted to say something, we would have to stick our head out. So, because the mosquitoes
were so bad.
Bro,
yeah, you told the story here too.
Bro, it was like the KGB, the Russian KGB army of mosquitoes.
The worst, too.
The worst.
Mosquitoes are literally the worst.
You put your head out, pop, 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 pop.
And they'll nail you.
Oh, buddy. So we would say a word. I'd be like, hey, Matt. Yeah, I would go down. You'd say, hey, what's up? And we would keep going up and down. We're like talking about the podcast. And we're like, yo, why don't we call it? We're like, yo, it's so simple. And then the word simple kept coming up. Oh. We're like, yo, why don't we call it It's Simple Podcast? So the first name we thought of, we're like, what do you think? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool, done. Yeah. Simple Podcast started from there.
Yeah, there's something amazing about that creative process. You know, it all has the story. Like mine was, I was probably just taking a shit or something, and I thought a couple casuals. So there's not much to it, but or going for a run. One of the two. But there's something interesting in what you said there, like success. And I'm curious, like, what's your definition of success?
That's a good question. My definition of success.
Because I feel like that's it's interpersonal for everybody has a different definition of success. Some may not be just financial. Maybe their definition of success is having a family. Let's
1,000%. My definition of success would be biased towards me, but
100. That's what it's about. Yes.
It would be financial freedom, right? So it's not a number I'm trying to reach, right? Everyone's like, oh, I wish I made $1 million. I wish I made $1 billion. It's never a number. For me, it's living life in a way where, bro, I don't have to worry. I want to go on a trip today. Let's go to a trip. You guys boys want to go to Miami? Let's go to Miami. Oh, we want to go here today? Let's go here. I want to buy this. Let's buy this, right? The reason why I say this is because I grew up, like, you know, shout out to my dad, my parents, like, they raised fucking gem of a fucking family because we're all excelling and killing.
How many siblings do you have?
We're 3 brothers and 1 sister. I'm the youngest, so everyone's like older. They're all married kids. But I have about like 8, 9 nephews. Fuck, how many do I have? Bro, 8 nephews and 2 nieces. One's on the way, so it's crazy, right? So my dad struggled his whole life, right? He drove a cab back, like I told the story before, but like my dad came from Pakistan in like 1991. Had a whole family with him except me. I wasn't born yet. So with all his kids and everything, he had back home, he was an HVAC technician, right? So when he came over here, he had none of the degrees or anything that he had would work because he had to go to school again and etc. So he was thrown into that system where he had to drive a cab. He drove a taxi for 18 years of his fucking life, right? Anybody that knows, when you drive a cab, you're not making a lot of money. You're making enough money to A, pay your bills, hardly, and feed your family, and provide a roof over your family, right? So that's what he did. So throughout my whole life when I was younger, I never, like, I was aware of that situation, right? But I would be like, I want these shoes, right? And like, I would like wait, because I know, like, you know what, my parents might not have the money, but I would wait. And once a year, I would buy like a fresh pair of shoes. I wanted like a $15 fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card pack. I would literally be like to my mom, I'd be like, I'm not going to go to my dad and ask him for $15. Maybe he only has $100 in a day in his pocket. He needs that for something else. So I would be like, you guys need me to buy anything from the convenience store? They'll be like, yeah, here's $5. I would take the $5, $2 change left. I would put it to the side. I would keep all the change, right? Until I would build up like $15. Then I would buy myself Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
So you're saving.
So since I was young, I knew that, like, you know, like, we don't have that financial freedom, right? We can't just go buy whatever we want. We don't have like those nice cars outside. We don't have a nice, beautiful, upgraded house, right? Mm-hmm. So that, like, I feel like in all of our siblings, it instills something in us where we were like, nothing against my dad. Like, I love my dad. He's the greatest motherfucker in the world. But like, this is something I did not want to live, you know? This is something I didn't want my future kids to have to experience. Mm-hmm. Right, I remember days where fucking guys, the fucking hydro people came up to our door and like, you have to pay your bill by today. We're going to cut your fucking hydro, or cut your this, you know. I've experienced all that. You know, I've seen my parents run around, go crazy, try to scavenge money to pay the mortgage. I never want to live like that, you know. So that was why I would say, like, my meaning of my definition of success is financial freedom, because we didn't have that. I didn't have that when I was younger growing up. I had to gain that for myself, right? Yeah. With my own business, with my own hard work, and achieve that. So now for me to see financial freedom is like the greatest happiness ever, because then I can be like, you know, to my parents, like, yo, let's go travel somewhere. Yeah. What do you guys want to buy? Go to the mall, buy whatever you guys want. Yeah. There's no limit now. There's no headache now. We're not worried about having to pay our mortgage or bills or anything, right? Seeing that's happiness for me. I don't give a fuck about a certain number or whatever. It's just, I never want to be in a situation where I have to worry about how I'm going to pay my next bill or how I'm going to put food on the table.
Yeah, and that is success. I think I can agree with that too. And there's a lot of good stuff in there that you touched on, like, for example, the sacrifices that the people before us, our parents, our family members, had made. A lot of our parents are immigrants that came here in sacrifice for us. So that's not a dig at your dad. If anything, that's exactly what his goal was, probably, was to come here, put himself on the line to work and grind it out to then give you a better life. And then you derived a lot of good things from that. You learned how to save, and then ultimately you've established this goal for you, which you would imagine as success, which I can agree with too. Financial freedom is very important. And then also what that gives you is, it gives you power too, because nowadays, and especially I hate, like, I especially for men too, is like, I feel like masculinity and men in general are kind of under attack in a way too, because there's all this type of mentality where, you know, with the canceling and definitely the divorce systems set up in not necessarily for the man. So success can be, you know, having that financial freedom. It also provides you with a lot of protection in your life too, because would you say that's one of the reasons that you decided to be an entrepreneur, was also for that freedom?
1,000%.
Because you don't have to necessarily answer to anybody, and you don't have to worry about what you said 15 years ago, for example, right?
1,000%. And it's like, my whole life, I've been working since I've been in grade 10, man. Like, I wanted a phone. My parents were like, you're not getting a fucking phone. Go get a job. If you want a phone. I was like, cool.
I love that.
Grade 10, while everybody else was like fucking having fun in school, getting allowances, all this shit. I was like, I'm gonna go get my first job. I worked at Pickle Barrel in Vaughan Mills. I used to bust tables, clean tables.
It's not. I don't even think it's there anymore, is it? I think it's a Hortons now, bro.
Fuck, eh? So I used to do that, and like, from like grade 10 at a young age, I started working, right? And like, I had this like desire, like this chase where I was like, yo, any job I do, I'm good at. Like, they put me in Pickle Barrel. I was the best fucking buster.
You just worked hard though.
I had a good work ethic. They put me in Peterland, and then I worked at Peterland. I used to sell crazy. Like, you know, I was good at it. I worked at Champs. I was like getting sales crazy. Like, I was amazing at it. I worked at Rogers. I was killing it. I was like, I have this in me, but one thing I can't do, I can't take orders from fucking people, right? Because when someone tells me like, oh, do this, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, bro, you're a fucking idiot. You're trying to tell me what to do, but you have no experience in doing it, you know? And I would hate that. And I would just like, I would always have an issue with authority.
Okay.
I'm like, what's the way around that? Be my own boss, right? And the first business I started was like, I did it with my brother. We opened a driveway sealing company. So we used to go literally in the spring, starting of spring, we would go door to door.
There's a lot of money in that.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'd have my own truck, everything. We'd go door to door. And me and my brother just started. We're like, yo, fuck it, let's do this. We'd go door to door and just driveway seal. Knock on people's door, hey, would you like to use this service, et cetera, et cetera. And then eventually, like, my brother, like, got into his business, and I was like, you know what, I want to do one whole summer by myself. I made a little team, a little crew. Then I was like, yo, I want to brand this. Like, right now I'm going door to door, but there's no name behind it, proper name or flyers or anything. So I was like, that's where, like, my first business thing ever started.
How old were you?
I was first year university.
Okay, so 19, 20.
Yeah, first year university. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. So then I hired a designer. I made all this stuff and like this whole like platform, like this whole design, whatever. And I was like, I like this. This is cool. Like it's my own brand now. And I promoted on Instagram back then. I'm like, Brothers Driveway Sealing. We called it, and I promoted and I was like, fuck my own brand. And from there, it just sparked something in me where I was like, bro, I'm good at, I can do this. It's just going to take me time. I'm not going to nail every single business I do right away. I know I have to learn, but I know I can do it. There's you know, when you just, you know it.
Yeah.
And deep down, that's one thing about me. Like when I know something's going to work, it works. It happens. I figure it the fuck out how to get it done.
And that's the mindset there, bro.
Yeah.
It's the determination to improvise, adapt, and overcome and figure it out. I do think that, you know, business owners, like, first of all, they can incur a lot of risk. To be an entrepreneur, you know, you reap the reward if it succeeds, but they can incur a lot of risk. So it does take a special individual, you know. And is that something that you always had, or you kind of developed over time?
Oh, 1,000%. I feel like I was born to do this, man. Yeah. Since I was young, I was energetic, charismatic, funny. I would always try to make people laugh. I had this stuff in me where I feel like the thing was, because when I was younger, I was never that cool kid. I was just, or, you know, every kid wants to be the cool or recognized. I was never that. I was just that guy. I didn't like, for example, when people would choose teams for sports or groups. I was never the first guy. People would be like, I want him on my team. So I would always just be there, you know? And like, I was like, yo, like all that stuff, it was like, it built up something in me where I was like, bro, like, I got to prove to these fuckers who the fuck I am.
Yeah, that's what it gave you motivation. So that's interesting. Like, I want to even unpack that a little bit further, because that happens to a lot of people where they have this sense of maybe not necessarily resentment, but they feel like a certain feeling of not feeling wanted or feeling less of. What do you think it takes to kind of identify that can be fixed? That can be fixed, and you can encounter that, but you have to put the work in.
1,000%. And it's like when you're young, it's harder, right? Mm-hmm. When you're a kid, like you're looking at it like, fuck, like all these guys, like they're going every for example, I'll give you a small stupid scenario. Like people would go for lunch and they wouldn't ask me, yo, come with me. They all have their own clique and they're going, and I would be like, just tag along, right? That stuff like that. I was like, fuck, like I'm not athletic. I'm not smart. That was me in school. I wasn't athletic at all. I was not smart, but I knew how to speak. I could captivate a group, like a classroom, and talk and like get people zoned in because of how I raise my voice, the way I talk. And I would like, in drama, I was good because every time we would do these skits or stuff and like we would present, I would always be very energetic and people would laugh and I would like get people like a little hyped up. So I was like, there's something I have with the way I speak, right? I'm not smart. I'm not fucking into like book smart. I'm not mathematically smart. I'm not the fucking athletic, but I know how to talk, right? And I'm like, if I know how to talk, and I was working, I was doing good in sales. I was killing it in champs. People could come in and I could just read them and see their body language. And I could see somebody in the room if they want to talk to me, if they don't. I could see if someone is not interested in me or they're really, like, I could read people's body language very well. Mm-hmm. I learned that through working, right? We talked about this, how important working is when you're younger. And that just, like, that's what it was. I mean, you know, like, from being younger, not being given that attention, to then seeing that what's my skill set. I'm like, now I have to utilize this to something,
And it can be developed too. That's worth outlining too, is that it could be developed too.
1000%.
And I think people need to really, I talked about this with one of my other buddies on the pod here. Shout out to my buddy Mike. We talked about the importance of those building block jobs that you have throughout your youth and throughout your teens too. A lot of people look at it like, you're hungover most of the time that you show up to work. And fair enough, you can be, but there's a lot of utility that you can take from those experiences, I feel, because that's where you learn the foundation, bro. Like, look at all the things that you just touched on.
1000%.
You learned a lot of the foundation in your work ethic, and you found out a lot about yourself through those jobs.
Oh, yeah, 1000%, right? Like being in grade 10, bro, after school, everyone's going home, doing all this shit. Bro, me and, like, one of my best friends at that time, Naham, shout out Naham, like, fuck, he got me the first job. He was like, bro, he was just working. And I learned it from him. I'm like, bro, this guy's grinding. Finish school, go works. Why? Back to my earlier point. He had cash in his pocket. I never could go up to my parents and be like, yo, Dad, I want to go buy this. Give me $100. My dad would be like, 100 fuck, it goes. Of course, my dad would give me $100. But deep down, I know that $100 he needs probably to pay the bills or buy grocery or do something with it that is more important than me using it to go to Wonderland for the day. Right? So I was like, I need to make my own money. And bro, being in grade 10, bro, I was clearing like $500-600, sometimes $800 bi-weekly. It was like almost a couple of Genos in my pocket. Just
from grinding it up.
In grade 10, And I was like seeing this, and I was like, that's where it came into me, my freedom. I was like, yo, you want to go for lunch, boys? I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go buy myself brand new Air Forces, right? I used to splurge on myself. And I was like, it got to this point where I was like, it's my own money. I don't have to fucking ask anybody for anything. It's my own financial freedom in high school, which I achieved. I was making some crazy money, bro. When I worked at CandleHand, I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and night shifts.
Crazy days, bro. That place, for them, any people that are not from the area, the Jane and Major Mac CandleHand was crazy at like 2 to 4 a.m., bro.
Bro, that's where I made like majority of my connections, bro. I would work from like 5 p.m. Friday night till 4 a.m., and then I would work again Saturday, and I would work again Sunday. Bro, everyone's out partying, doing all their shit. I was just fucking cleaning money, And I was making good. I was making like $800 a week, Sometimes like $700 a week if we got like good hours. Because I worked during the week too. And that's where it just like, I started this, it just kicked into me that like, yo, this money, and it's bad because you start to like love money. But I loved it in a sense because it gave me freedom to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do.
Yeah, 100%. And then that's the aim, right? The aim was financial freedom, and I think that's very important. And again, at a time like now, bro, you need it. You need financial freedom,
buddy. Like, look at it now in front of your eyes.
A lot is changing. Look at the prices of everything. For
people
example,
that did not save, or people that did not have like proper, I'd say savings or investments or whatever. During these last 2 years, we're struggling, man, But thank God, thanks to the blessing of God and like the work ethic and everything I've done, bro. For me, it was nothing bad, It was more of a time to like regroup, get back to my reality, realize that, we don't have to go out every weekend. I don't have to do this every weekend. I don't have to party every weekend. It made me connect with friends more, family members more. It was like a moment of like 2 years of just like taking a step back. But bro, I didn't put the gas off the pedal. I was still working, grinding. Yeah. But like in that sense where in a situation like this, I was prepared in a way where I didn't try to be prepared, but I was just prepared because I made the right financial decisions and I was calculated, right? So
100%.
That makes sense.
And throughout those times, it's kind of where you learn a lot about yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I say it all the time, but like through the storm is when you're going to find out, who you actually are. Because it's very easy, for example, to stay positive and good when everything's fucking copacetic and everything's going good and you don't have no problems. But then as soon as everything hits the fan, which inevitably life that happens, that's when you really start to have to look inward. And I think that happened to a lot of people. Now speaking of business and touching on it a bit, how did you get into, like, explain a little bit like what you do now and how you got into that now, like with your business now, because you work hard, bro. And it's worth outlining.
So, it's fun. So before I started my recruitment company now, my brother, when remember I talked about the driveway ceiling,
right?
He gave me the truck. So he started, he found a business partner and he opened up his employment agency, right? So he started his business up, and then from the driveway ceiling, I was like, you know what? I would do the driveway ceiling, and then I would go work with him. So I would bounce back and forth, right? And I started working with him, and I was good. Like I was good at the sales. I was good at talking with the clients. I started liking the business a lot.
Like, what would you have to do? Like, you literally meet with like owners of companies to then discuss hiring.
So I would do like the traditional door-to-door marketing.
Oh, okay.
I'll take a pamphlet. They would drop me off at a corner of a street. I would go company to company, walking. Hi, my name is Zohaib. I'm here from blah, 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 blah. I was wondering, are you guys looking for workers, etc. Did that for like a couple months straight. And then started getting in business, whatever. But then at that moment, I was going back into university because I wanted to be a lawyer. I had this whole thing in my head. I've watched too much fucking Suits, too much Harvey Specter. And I wanted to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah, which I feel like a lot of people, they go to school necessarily for something because maybe they get inspired when they're young or whatever it may be, but that doesn't necessarily mean.
For me, it was also like, I was like, oh, my parents want me to be a lawyer, this, that.
Common.
And then I went back into school, and then when I was in school, so I had a little bit of experience working with my brother, and I seen like the money that he was starting to make, and I was like, oh, this is good.
So he had already started the business by then?
He started it, and then I was like, for the first 3 months when he started, I was there. I was working with him for the first 3 months, okay? So then after the first 3 months, I went back to school, and then I stepped away from the business. Then I was just in my own little realm of no job, university grind. And I was like, fuck, I hate this shit. I don't like it. I'm in school. I'm not learning shit. I'm worrying about essays, grades, and this, that. And I'm like, I'm missing out on an opportunity to make money right now. Like, I could, like, instead of going to school and fucking spending one whole week in a lecture, multiple lectures, whatever, and then getting nothing out of it. And then I started to realize, like, do I really want to be a lawyer? I'm doing like calculations. I'm like, lawyers make how much a year? They make this much, but I can only make this much if I open my own business. And I was putting all these calculations in my head, and I'm like, but if I just go work with my brother, if I just go work, I can do this. I can make this much in a year. I can do this. I can do. So it started to click in me, right? And then that's when I had my whole little health shit happen to me.
Which I actually never even got a chance to talk to you about that. Do you feel comfortable talking?
Of course. Yeah, 100%.
You talked about it many times?
Okay. Many times. So yeah, in my third year of university, third or fourth, one of those fucking years.
So you were under 25, 100%.
Yeah. I think I was 22, 21. It was like January, whatever. I started to notice my neck started to swell up, right? Think of like a baseball in your neck. And I didn't know what it was at that moment, right? So I used to go to the walk-in clinic, and shout out to the 3 fucking idiot doctors that I met with. One was like, oh, put ice on it. It's nothing. And then my dumbass went home and was putting ice on it, right? I'm like, oh, it's nothing. And then I started to notice like my whole physique was like getting scrawny. Like my face was like looking like I'm not eating enough. Like my physique, my bone density, everything was like shrinking. I was looking very weird. Okay. And then, so I went to the doctor. I was getting like these fevers. I was scratching everywhere. Doctor was like, put ice on it. It's nothing.
Which doctor, by the way? Was it like just a walk-in? Like, I don't know, because this happens very frequently.
Yeah, shout out, like, there's one doctor there that I love. It's Health Center of Maple, Jane and Major Mac.
Yeah, I know where
next
that
to
is.
Longos.
Yeah.
One doctor there that I love and I owe in my life is Dr. Ree. He's the best doctor in the world. Everybody else there needs to fucking get their degrees rechecked because, like, without any analysis, without any, like, blood work or anything, just looked at it just because they want to make their quick money and get the person the fuck out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing, just put ice on it. So for 2 months, I put ice on it. It didn't go away. I went back. And then another doctor's like, you know what? I think it's like a reaction. Here's some cream. Put this cream on it. Then I'm rubbing this fucking cream on it. It didn't go away. Then I went to a homeopathic doctor. He gave me some medicine, and then I put the medicine on it, and then my swelling went away. Then he came back. This is like January, February, March, April, May now. Okay, May. So it went away for like a month, then it came back. May.
Was it literally big, like a big
yeah,
baseball?
you could see it. You could see it like, fuck it. I'll show you a photo after. And it's like my neck swelled up. So you see my neck sticking out. And like, I would go out, people would be like, yo, is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, bro. Just like, I don't know what it is. Just like some infection or whatever. Then in June, after the homeopathic, I did it. I should have went back to the homeopathic, but I was just like in my own little world. Came back after, and then I went back to the walk-in clinic, and they were like, I forgot what he said. This was like the dumbest one yet. Like first was ice, second was cream, and this one was just like, I forgot what he said, and it was the most dumbest thing ever. And me being an idiot, I just listened to it. I was like, sure.
Well, it's not necessarily you, bro. This happens a lot in Canada. I've heard many stories now, because what happens is I think there's not enough doctors and there's too many patients. So, and obviously we have free healthcare here in Canada, which is, we pay for it though, guys. It's not necessarily free. Go look at how much you pay.
We pay a lot, but
go look at how much you get paid. You paid in taxes. But then ultimately, what happens is I feel like our healthcare system isn't as good as it maybe should be. Like, much respect to everybody who's in that field 100%, but there's a lot of stories I hear of misdiagnoses.
1000%. And then, bro, imagine like, now I look back at it and it infuriates me.
Because they're just like, come in. Okay. Yeah. What do you got? Yeah. Just put this on. You're good. Go.
And they're like, go, whatever. They're like, it's pointless. The third doctor, I forgot what they said, what he said or she, but it was the most dumbest thing ever. And I was just like, when I look back at it now, I'm like, bro, I wish I fucking like not sued, but I just want to sit these doctors down and be like, you guys could have fucked me real bad.
You could sue for negligence, I guess, but
it was not like whatever. It's not like nothing like I'm good now, but like then after like my parents are like going on this trip to like the U.S. like Baltimore, and I was like, I'm not gonna come with you guys. I'm gonna stay back. So then I had an appointment booked with my family doctor, Dr. Ree, who I mentioned earlier. It was like on a Sunday. Saturday night, the boys are like, let's go out. I'm like, fuck yes. We go out, we go party, we go eat at fast, wherever we went. And then came back home, and like I woke up, my appointment was supposed to be like 9:30. I woke up at 10, and I was like in a fever, not feeling well. And I woke up and like, I was like, fuck it, I'll just move the appointment to next week. But after I was like, something in me was just like, no, call the number right now, see if they can take you. I called. The girl at the front desk was a beauty. She's like, you know what, if you come here in the next 5 minutes, I'll take you. I was like, done. I got in my car, I drove down the street. Went, the doctor literally right away when he looked at me, he's like, he looked at my neck. I'm like, yeah, it's been like this since like January. Like I've been coming back and forth. He's like, starts panicking. He's like, no one did an X-ray on you? I'm like, no.
Yeah,
no one did this blood work? I'm like, no. And like, bro, my parents are gone. I'm by myself. He's sketching me the fuck out. He's like, oh, okay, do this, whatever. Do all these tests, and I go home. This is the fucking craziest part. So on Monday morning, I'm at the office with my brother, and I received like 5 private number missed calls. I don't answer them. I don't answer private calls. I don't answer whatever. I let it go to voicemail. And then I listen to voicemail. As my doctor, he's like, hey, Zohaib, we found something in your chest. It's serious. There's spots on your lungs, like some shit like this. And like, you know what? I need you to call me back right now and come in. Bro, I'm literally sitting there. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened?
It's literally everybody's most feared phone call.
Then I call my doctor's office. I'm like, yeah, I just got this voicemail. Like, yeah, but the doctor's not in till Saturday. So I'm like, the fuck you mean he's not in till Saturday?
How are you going to sit on that information, bro, for fucking a week?
Imagine then. No. I sat there for that whole week till Saturday eating at myself. Like, what the fuck?
So you actually did it, bro. I would have been losing it.
I have to wait till Saturday. I'm like, I think that's what the doctors want me to do.
Did you tell your parents? Because they were away.
Bro, I didn't tell my parents. I kept it quiet because I only told my brother. And then, bro, come Saturday, I go to the doctor. He's like, yo, listen, in your x-rays, we found a lump in your chest. This is, what it could be. They have to be cautious as well. He's like, we feel it can be cancerous. This, that. He's telling me all this stuff, but he's like, I'm going to set you up with an appointment at this next specialist right away. Like he said, set me up with an appointment. Like this is not going into like August. In August, he set me up with an appointment with a specialist. At this moment, I didn't tell my parents or anybody. I kept it into myself because I was like, I knew because I went home, I did some research.
And you got to be careful with the Google research though.
But I was bang on with this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I was bang on because I did all my little diagnosis and I was like, what could it be? Blah, 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 blah. This, that. And it was like, after like searching on Google, whatever, it was like Hodgkin's lymphoma, right? So
wait. So that's what it was?
Yeah. Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's basically when your lymph nodes get infected and it creates like a tumor and like, I don't know, fucking too much of it. I try not to learn too much about it, but it starts from your lymph nodes when your lymph nodes get affected. And then it's how cancer is. If it's untreated, it moves, right? Goes to other lymph nodes.
Oh.
So it originated in my chest was like about a year and a half ago. So from that time, it went to my stomach, my armpits, my neck. And when it got to my neck, it was like pressing against like some like blood vessel, whatever, causing my neck to swell up.
Oh,
right?
that's why I did that. That's why I did the swelling.
So long story short, like, bro, like, fucking all this shit happened in the span of like 2 months, right? And then before my birthday, I was told, like, it was like September 1st or September 2nd, whatever. I was literally at the appointment. I didn't tell shit to my parents. I kept it quiet, you know, until I had the appointment with the proper doctor that that did the biopsy and everything. And then they confirmed, like, yo, the doctor's telling me, shit, yeah, you have Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I remember that day because I was like, I left downtown by myself. I'm driving, and I'm like driving home.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What did you feel? Like, what was
bro,
that feeling
it's like you're in a
like
moment.
right away?
It's bro, being like 22 years old and getting told you have cancer. It's like you see a death sentence, right? Automatically you start to think like, fuck, that's it, cancer. Like, bro, what have we been told about cancer?
100%. You're young. You're getting told crazy information at first. You know, everybody knows about cancer and scared to hear those words.
Exactly.
And then you're just sitting in that. So what was that thought process
bro,
like?
It was like, in that moment, you're blanked. You just see like, you think of like, you're seeing like the end of the tunnel and you see the light, but you're starting to notice the light just getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, right? That's the best way to describe it, where your mind just starts to shut off, where you're just like trying to process all this information. You're like, it doesn't make sense. Why me? What the fuck? What did I do wrong? Did I eat something? Did I do? Is it because I smoke? You start processing all this information. And then I remember the first person I called was like my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend at that time. And like, I just bawled out to her. I was like, yo, I just got told I had this. Then I went to the office and like my brother asked me what happened. And then I told my brother, he's like the second person to find out. And then I was like, I'm not going to tell my parents, whatever, right now, you know? And then I remember this was like a Wednesday. And I literally came home and I went straight to bed. Like a Thursday, I went straight to my room and I didn't leave my room. My parents woke up the next day like, yo, what's wrong? I was like, I'm not feeling well, whatever. And then I was about to go out Friday night. Funniest thing, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go out again with the boys. After all this shit, I'm like, how am I going to get over this? Buddy, a Friday night at Early Mercy. You know?
Oh, no, my God, man.
And I'm like, fuck this, I'm going out tonight.
So, don't kill me.
Bro, literally. And before I'm leaving, my mom's like, yo, something is wrong. You're not saying something, right? And you can't hide anything from your mother, bro. That's like
the
most important. And as soon as I told her, then it was just like, bro, right away, like, it was fucked.
But
right?
wait, why did you want to keep it a secret from them at first?
They're old, bro. I don't want them to go through.
You don't want them to get worried, overwhelmed?
So I didn't even tell them, like, after, like, when I had my first consultation, then they told me my stage. They tell you the stage after, right? Then that's another fucked up thing. So they told me, the doctor sits me down. He's like, you have stage 4 cancer. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm like, stage 5 is what we've been told. I'm stage 5. I'm dead. I'm like, fucking peace out, world, whatever. Took it like a champ. Then after he explained to me, he's like, yo, there's 10 stages of cancer, right? You're just at that point where it's spread to your other parts, your lymph nodes, but it hasn't spread to your bone or your organs. So you're good at that point. You still have like a high percentage of living. So as soon as like I asked him one question, I was like, yo, what's my percentage? He's like, you're like over 80%. I'm like, done. That's all I need to know. There's a chance I'm going to win. Even if it was 60 or 50 or 5 or 10, I'm a believer of chance. I'm a believer. You give me a little bit of percent, a chance of winning something or doing something, I'll fucking get it done.
Let's go.
That's when like, bro, that's where my life changed from. This is all going to lead back to my business. I know it's a long story, but this is where like the wolf, the lion in me started, right? Because, and back to your question, why didn't I tell my parents? Because, bro, by me telling my mom I have stage 4 fucking cancer, I feel like she would be more affected than I would be.
Wow. My
parents are like in their 60s. And that was a mindset I had too, where I was like, yo, I'm content. I'm satisfied with myself of dying, but I am not content with the sorrow and the impact that I will leave on my family behind.
There's real honor in that, though.
Yeah, I'm more worried about what my parents and my family will have to go through than I do even for myself. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If I gotta go, I gotta go. But them seeing their son in this state is what is the shitty part, right? No parent wants to go through that.
It's their biggest fear, I would think.
1,000%. So yeah, that was why I didn't even tell my parents till I cured my cancer what my stage was. I told them at the end. In the beginning, I was like, we were all just like, oh, it's nothing, it's good. And then I would go through my chemo, whatever. But that moment when they told me my percent chance of living, think of it like a switch. When a fighter gets knocked out, you get clocked, and you have that chance where you're seeing fucking stars, you're blacked out, you're a boxer, and you have to get up, and you just, the spark lights in you, where like, you think about everything that you have to lose, and everything that you haven't achieved, you haven't seen, you haven't experienced, right? So I was like, bro, there's no way I'm going out like this. There's no fucking way. This is war. I'm like, bro, if you want a fucking battle, what, I have 80% chance or 70 or 70 something, whatever percent chance to live. Buddy, that's all I need. As soon as I got told that, bro, I just literally clicked the switch in my head where like the sorrow, the sadness, the fear disappeared. It was like a game now, like a battle. Like it was like me going to war.
That's a good
in a sense, right?
That was your competitive side of you, right?
100%. And that's when I seen like myself and like my determination and my mindset just shift.
So what was the process following that when you were told that information?
Oh, it's fucking chemo, bro. That is the worst experience. Fuck, I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. So I had to do like 4. They didn't have a timeline for me, but they were just like, we expect you to do like 4 sessions of chemo.
What is it? Like, what do you do? Like,
I'll give you the full breakdown of it. So chemo is broken down. So one session is broken down into 2 parts, okay? How it works. Your first session, you go, so I went, my first day ever at chemo, funny story. So I went to the mall after, like before my chemo, I went to shout out to my brother-in-law. He's the best. He took me to the mall and he's like, buy whatever you want. Bought a fresh tracksuit, everything. I bought like these Beats, AirPods, whatever. Buddy, I was pulling up to fucking the hospital, Princess Margaret. Like I was fucking like NBA All-Star Playoff 1, Game 1, buddy. That's how I would describe it, as Game 1, fucking ready to go, home game, whatever. Buddy,
hey, bro, that was the competitive side of you. You showed up like you were ready to go.
Buddy, I pull up, I have my headphones in, I'm listening to music, whatever. I sit down and they're like, literally. And what fucked with me was when I walked in, I thought like, low key, this is where like I'm like all fucked in the head. I was like, maybe there's like some cute girls in here or something. Bro, my mindset going into chemo was like, there's any hot nurses, cute girls, maybe I can vibe with the girl or something. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's fucking interesting, man.
So I would go in there, I see nothing.
A time that most people would be like fucking maybe sobbing.
Oh, 100%.
Zoe's showing up in a fucking tracksuit. He looks good. He's like, yo, man, I might wheel a piece today. I don't know.
Bro, I was confident as fuck. I was thinking about ass the whole time. I'm telling you, bro. So me like showing up and I look around, it's all old people.
Shit, backfired.
And I'm like, that fucked with me right away because I was like, there's nobody I can connect with or I can relate to. Like I want to talk to people, but I'm not to talk to a fucking 70-year-old. Like, you know, like God forbid. Like
it's like when you're in the sauna though, you do that. You know, when you're in the sauna, there's always like some 7-year-old that you learn a bunch of information from. Shout out to
100%. But like these 70-year-olds looked like they were dying. You know, they couldn't even open their eyes. So I was like, there's nobody there I could relate to, and that was like, I was happy. I was joking around. I was fun. I was like, I was very confident, you know. So I went into the chemo, and it's like, so it's Monday. The first, so I said there's 4 sessions. One session gets broken down into 2 parts. So the first part is, if you think of a month is 1 part. So a month is 1 session. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do chemo, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have off, and then you do Monday again the next week and Tuesday, and then you are good. You go on a break for about, I would say about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then you repeat it.
Holy shit, that's a lot of days. Were you working at the time?
Yeah, I was still in the office. I'll get into this. This is what makes me. I feel like what makes me who I am.
Okay.
So, the first day, I sit down in this chair. They fucking have all these drips on, and bro, like now this point when I look at needles, I laugh, and it's so funny because the nurse will be like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Miss, you don't know how many fucking needles I've taken. You know, like the health needles, like here." Yeah. So, bro, I'll sit down, like they gave me the whole drip, and like it was like an hour session, whatever. I was done, and I was like, "Yo, that's chemo. That's it." And they gave me a bag of like fucking pills. This is why I hate pills. Remember I told you I can't take pills? The amount of pills you have to take is brutal. So they gave me all this shit. I have to go home, whatever. So I go home, I pull up, and like I'm just a little tired, whatever. And my mom's like, "Oh, how was it?" I was like, "Oh, it's nothing. It was whatever." I go upstairs, I go to my room, whatever. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. I felt like I got hit by a sledgehammer. The first thing I woke up, I'm yakking nonstop, continuously. Like I feel like my stomach is just turning inside and out. My whole body's like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
So chemo is basically, think of a field of grass.
Mm-hmm.
There's wheat all over in it, okay? So you can go and pick at it, but with chemo, it's not possible. Chemo does is basically it's a fire extinguisher and burns all the grass, all your good cells and everything. Just burns everything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And with this,
That's a good analogy, bro.
best way, it burns everything. It's like I think of a field, and you're instead of picking at it one by one, you're getting a flamethrower. You're burning the good grass, the bad grass, the grass that may be beneficial, anything. You're burning it all. That's what it does to your body. So that's why your body's reacting to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like then it was just a fucking nightmare. Then the shittiest part about chemo is like after you're done that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you have the week off. So a couple of days off, then you do the Monday, Tuesday again. The weekend off, you do Monday, Tuesday. When you're done the Tuesday, you have 2 weeks off. So your body starts to reset. Start to feel better. Your appetite comes back. You know, you're like more energetic. You're not throwing up anymore. And then they're like, part 2, come back. And boom, again.
Oh, fuck. It's like a war. It's
Like
like
again.
It's like a storm. It just comes back.
And then you stop 2 weeks. And then you come back again.
So it's literally all drips. It's drips.
All drips and oral pills.
And oral pills.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think radiation? Why did I?
There is radiation as well, but thank God I did not have to do radiation. That was like the last step that they do. Radiation is horrible. A lot of side effects from it.
Yeah.
And they don't recommend it for anybody, but that's what chemo is, right? It's
Okay.
literally, you do it, you feel like shit, you get better,
Yep.
you do it again.
Oh, damn, exhausting.
So now imagine like, as soon as I would get better, I'd be like, thank God. And then the days are coming up. I'm like, I gotta go back.
Yeah. And you have to do that how many times? That
I have to
cycle?
do that 1, 2, so 2, 4, 6, 8, about 8 times.
You learn a lot about yourself through that experience.
You learn resilience, your determination, like the way of not giving up. Your mindset changes, bro.
Yeah.
You see like problems and you start to see what people are worried about, and you start to be like,
It gives you
worried about-
perspective.
you're worried about this?
Yeah.
You're worried about this? Like,
Yeah.
bro, there's people dying. There's people fucking fighting for their lives. And I'm like, I'm one of them, but fuck me. I know I'm going to win.
Yeah.
There's people that are not getting a second chance. They're like worried about real life fucking problems. And you guys are worried about what the fuck Kim Kardashian wore or what the fuck's going on social media. It just, bro, life just opened up to me. You know,
Right.
that's the best way to, that's why I am who I am today. Cause I went through that experience, because
Always say that, man.
my life, it felt like I was given a second chance at life, and I realized the shit I used to do before, and I was like, how stupid I was to the possibility that I can, like the shit I can do and what I can achieve. So I'm like, I need to use this energy and this determination and fucking put the pedal on the gas, because, bro, I'm given a second chance, and I'm not wasting this, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not wasting this
And
chance at all.
that's the first of all, it sounds like you were very optimistic from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But then also that experience, you derived a positive outlook and perspective from it. And that's worth thinking about, guys. It's like things are going to happen to you in life, positive, negative, but it's what you take from those experiences that can really pivot you in life in a positive way. Like then you took it to your business.
Oh yeah, bro. And like that's what it was. Like then after like that whole experience, like, I never stopped working, right? So when I would do my chemo, bro, I would literally go back to the office the next day. Even if I was throwing up shitty, maybe I'd rest 1-2 days, but I would be like, back in the office. But I was meeting clients. I was doing meetings.
What made you want to do that? You just said I'm gonna, because if I buckle and just lay in bed, it's worse.
If I lay down, I'm just fucking being miserable. I'm killing myself even more. My body, my mind needs to know I'm good. I might not be good, but I need myself to know I'm good. I need myself to know that, bro, I'm just something I'm doing on the side.
Did you have anybody that you would vent to, like a mentor or somebody that you would really?
That's one thing.
That's
one thing like I had my depression and my anxiety. I'm not trying to say I never had that. I had moments where I was literally sitting in the room crying and being like, bro, the day when my hair started to come off, I remember I went into I was in the hospital. So after my first session of chemo, my dumbass decided that it would be good to go eat at an all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant. The number one thing about chemo is you cannot go into areas where people are touching multiple things, because your immune system is zero.
Right. Yeah.
I decided to go to all you can eat sushi restaurant.
Probably not the best
and
idea.
eat chopsticks and stuff that people use and etc. And then I got a bacteria infection. I was hospitalized for 7 days.
Wow, no way.
So, and like that, this is when I was hospitalized, when people had to come see me, they had to wear like what you see in the COVID now.
Yeah.
My brothers and my family had to come with the mask, the shield,
Holy
and everything
shit.
on. Yeah. So then in that, my first treatment, I started to like pick at my hair. It was coming off in chunks. I remember I went home and then right away I called my barber. I'm like, bro, I got to come. You just have to shave my hair off. And like, I remember my barber, shout out Nazif, he's like, I'm in a seat and he's just quiet. And he's like, because he knows how much I loved my hair. Bro, I used to have blowouts, fucking everything. He's sitting in there and he's just like shaking and he's like shaving my hair off and he's trimming it down. And I'm just like sitting there like not saying a word and just zoned in, you know, like just like I'm in another world. Like at this moment, like nobody could talk to me. Even my girlfriend at that moment was like, I shouted to her. I owe her the world. She stuck by me the whole fucking time. You know, no girl does that. She stuck by me. I have unconditional love for her. But, bro, I literally sitting there and I'm like, I was stone cold. Like at that point, I was just like, bro, I have one thing. I'm beating this, right? I went home and I literally went in front of the mirror and I looked at my face and like, that's when the first time I ever broke down, like fully broke down. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this is real. When you see your face and like your hair is gone, your eyebrows are gone and they're thinned out, you have no facial hair, nothing. I'm looking at like a ghost in myself, right? But bro, it was just something like there that I was just like, if I can overcome this, then there's nothing out there in the world that like I cannot overcome or I cannot beat or I cannot achieve.
Yeah.
And once, like, bro, I remember the day I fucking cured my chemo, and I was like, bro, game on.
Yeah.
I'm like, game on. I'm like, all you fuckers had a good 4 months, you know, chance. I was quiet. I was doing my own little shit. Now I'm like, bro, the sky's the fucking limit. What do I want to do?
Where does that come from, bro? How did you get that determination, that will?
Just God, bro. I feel like God.
Did you pray a lot? Are you religious?
My parents are very religious. I love my relationship with God. I feel like every human being has their own relationship with God. I don't pray 5 times a day. I'm not fully religious. I would love to be, but I feel like me and God have this connection, you know, where God knows what I'm doing. And bro, I don't stray away from religion. I know the power and impact of religion, but I just have my own way of doing it, right? So I don't judge anybody. You do it. That's what I tell anybody. Look at me. Don't judge me for what I do. Just, I love God. I have my relationship with him. And at the end of the day, it's me and God are going to discuss what I did right, what I did wrong. I'm not fucking the guy down the street that telling me I'm not a good person, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, I still think about it. I don't know what it was, man. It was just determination, because I was like, I can't leave like this. You know, I can't leave without making a mark on this planet, because I know I have potential. I know I'm going to be somebody. And it's just like, I just couldn't do it, bro. I was just like, no. I'm like, I'm going to fucking, I got to grind it out. This is it. This is second chance at life.
Yeah.
I felt like I gained years of wisdom. Yeah. Because then I was just like, right after that day, bro, I was pedal to the gas and I never looked back. And then I left my brother's company. Then I opened my own business, recruitment company. And then from there, it's just everyone's seen it in front of their eyes. Like, you know, I think we're one of the best recruitment companies in all of Canada.
It's called Simplex?
It's Simplex HR. And we're like, you know, we have a great team. Shout out to everybody that works with us. Incredible team. And now even we're creating, like, it's, you know, I'll say it out here first, but we have the first digital recruitment app service, which is going to change the industry, coming out very, very soon. And that's me, bro. That's like a little story of my life, jumping into the spark of my business. And now this is not my end goal. This is not my dream business. I don't fucking say I love this, what I'm doing. I'm doing it because, bro, it puts food on my table. I'm good at it. I know what the fuck I'm doing. But this is just like me getting my feet wet, you know?
What do you see? What is it that you strive? You don't know?
I don't know, man. I know it's something big because if at a young age I'm able to achieve all this and I've secured myself financially with proper investments, everything, that I'm good. Yeah. Right? I can just relax, lay back and enjoy my life. But I see something in the back of my head and I can't I can't put an image to it.
Yeah.
But I see this and this, I don't know what it is, but I just feel this energy in me where it's like, it's going to burst and something big is going to happen. Something big is going to come from this, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I just
man.
feel it.
That's inspiring, bro. Yeah. Honestly, that's motivating. That's inspiring. And I'm glad to share even a little bit of the journey with you because it has been a pleasure. But there's real use and utility in perspective. And I think when we go through things, it gives us perspective. And then if you look at it in a positive way, it really can provide you with some real force because you say it's something intrinsic. It's something that it's calling for me inside. I don't know what it is necessarily yet, but I will find out. And that's why trying things I feel is like so useful because you try this and it's like, okay, maybe that's not it. And then you go to this, I try this and maybe that's not it. But then all these things that we do, you're still stumbling forward to whatever that is going to be. And it's there.
That's what it is, right? You got to keep trying. Like I failed so many fucking times. I started a case phone skin wrap business.
I remember you telling me about that, yeah.
And that failed, you know? It's not like I haven't failed. My ideas and shit I want to do fails, but it's like I try everything. Everything I want to do, I try it. Even if it's putting the idea like to paper, drawing it out, having it there. I have an ideas book, and it's literally filled with like complete projects ready to go.
Business ideas only? Business ideas?
Business ideas, all business plans, ideas, and they're executed to a point where they're ready to go. It's just a matter of me not putting the funding and putting it into construction. Ideas, right? I go to that point where I'll pay my money, I'll pay the price, whatever. I'll get the designs made, branding, everything ready to go, package, and it's just like, when it's the right time, I'm going to do this.
All right. Timing is important.
Timing is very important because what I learned, and this is from experience, is that you can't do a million things at once. You only have two hands, right? You have one brain and two hands.
And these things do take energy, Zo.
1000%.
They take energy, so you don't want to divert your energy too much.
You can get rocked by if you do too many projects at once, then you're giving minimal effort to all of them and nothing gets done. All right? So what I decided to do now is like I have all these projects I'm doing. Like I hired a personal assistant. I have a great team overseas, everything. And it's like now I'm at that point where I'm like realizing I'm just hiring the right people now, right?
Building the team.
Giving like people certain tasks. Like your job is to manage this project. Your job is to manage this project. And that's where a lot of people, there's a business talk now. That's where I feel like a lot of people fuck up because they're scared to like, bro, if you're making $100,000, if you invest $50,000 of that into people, you're going to make an extra. Like hypothetically speaking, you hire two people from $50,000. Now those two people are probably going to generate you 100 each, right? To grow your business, you have to hire. You cannot do it by yourself, right? You have to hire the right talent, the right people. You have to hire people smarter than you,
man, it's
better
so
than you, right?
Yeah. Because this whole it's just like the whole collaborating thing with like the podcasting too. Like doing this by myself is fun. Don't get me wrong, but then working with you and Matt has been just 10. I feel like 10x. Like it's going to be like 1 year. It's not even a year ago that I dropped this shit. You know, and like the stuff that's happened in the year and like. And then being able to have conversations like this with like guys like you who've been through things and like it's really, really useful to build that team around you and bounce these ideas off these people around you because you learn so much about yourself and others.
1000%.
And so you improve.
You got to surround yourself with the right people, right? And then you got to just like, bro, working as a team, the reason I feel like people don't like working as a team or don't like sharing because they think that why can't I have this whole pie to myself? Why do I have to give you a slice of the pie? Right. Why? I did it. It's my idea. It's my pie. I baked it. It's my pie. Why can I not have it all? I want it all. But once that pie is done, it's done. Yeah. You eat all the slices of the pie, it's gone. Yeah. There's no more pie left.
Exactly.
Right? So imagine if you share that pie or whatever to somebody else. And they like that pie. And then they go buy another pie or whatever, make another fucking pie. The analogy's stupid. They make another pie. Now you have another pie that you can share from. He has his pie, then you hire another, you give a slice to somebody else, and they build their own bakery. Now you have multiple pies that you can get.
Yeah, you're paying it forward. You're giving it to others to then blossom.
1000%. That's how business is. You got to invest in your team. You got to give people a piece of your pie. You got to invest in them. Give them some percentage of your company. Show them that you care. Because when you start to invest and you start to invest in people, your team, and you have a team under you, then, bro, you can tackle multiple projects at once, right? You can make more, and you have more money coming in and all that. You're
stronger together.
Exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of people have this idea about like really successful people are in a room smoking cigar, just like laughing with all their Benjis. But majority of the time, like we talked about Elon Musk, like a lot of these guys, first of all, a guy like Elon Musk, maybe it's not too bad of an idea if he has a lot of money. He is fucking sending rockets to space and shit.
You see that documentary on Netflix?
Of him? No, I haven't.
The race to space or some shit. Watch it.
I'm gonna check it out.
Talks about it like SpaceX, his program, and like how, bro, it blows. Listen to this. In 1960, the last time we sent somebody to the moon.
1969, I think.
After that, they had one more. Project or whatever the fuck you want, space thing, where they sent somebody, the U.S. sent someone to the International Space Station. Then they canned it. I think they canned it in 2001 or something, because they were like, it's too expensive for them to send people. If hypothetically speaking, if in 1969 we sent some people to the moon, imagine if we had invested money and we had brains like Elon Musk back then, that just were building on something. I don't know, like technology came later or whatever, but like Elon Musk started SpaceX how long ago? I don't know the exact
dates. Within the past
decade,
like, for sure.
Look at what he's achieved, right?
A lot, yeah.
And now we're at that point where we're like, bro, it's going somewhere. He made reusable rockets, something that has cut the cost by fucking astronomical number.
Yeah, a very successful electric car company too.
And now he's doing rockets, and the reason why his project is so successful, because he sends rockets now that go up, and then they come back down, and then you can reuse those.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So now
it's interesting,
we're one step closer to a more efficient way to explore the space.
Yeah.
Imagine if we did this like 20 years ago.
Yeah, he's innovating, and he's a very successful individual, and he's definitely not sitting in a room smoking a cigar, man. He's innovating, he's thinking, and he maybe is doing that, but he's also collaborating and helping people too, because the majority of these successful people, they have money, they have all that shit. The real reward, the real intrinsic reward comes from helping others. Like, just like you were saying.
He was the founder of PayPal, right?
Yeah, that's how he started, right? That's where he made his first millions.
I think all the money that when he sold PayPal with his partners, all the money that he made, he invested everything into Tesla, and a little bit of that was left into SpaceX. And he even says that he's like, bro, I had to borrow money for rent.
Yeah, he just reinvested. And he says that now, by the way. He still doesn't actually own a property, but it's just because
now look at him, bro. Now look at him.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing it. I fuck with Elon. I like Elon, and I hope he buys Twitter. But we could
I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen.
Honestly, man, like, the liberals are gonna freak out if he does, man, because
that's what we need, bro. Like, sorry to say, but like, fuck this cancel culture shit. If you don't like what somebody says, bro, scroll past it.
Exactly, and that's what happened to Twitter. Twitter used to be like, just got to the movies, lol, so fun, ha ha ha. Now it's like, the social economic structures are patriarchally and like guys,
so stupid, man.
Twitter is a place for people to go and yell. I literally say it all the time, and unfortunately, it is political now. I feel like that's the main premise of Twitter now. So, in my opinion, and maybe not everybody's, but if Elon were to jump on and buy Twitter, I think that he can even the playing ground again and make it more primarily about freedom of speech. And unfortunately, you're not going to like everything that everybody says, but that's the fundamental mechanism that keeps us moving forward in society. Freedom of speech. People got to say what they want.
1,000%, man. I feel like it's bro, more people are waking up to that, right? You have to realize, bro, you should be allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. If it offends somebody, it offends them, bro. Grow the fuck up.
I know.
If you don't like it, unfollow the page. If it offends you, scroll past it.
Yeah, and it's your opinion versus the other person's opinions. It's individual to the person. So
because like then it's like, oh, but that's wrong. But then what your opinion that you have is okay then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but that person doesn't agree with your thinking. That's it.
That's the idea behind censorship. People are like, okay, we're gonna provide a censorship bill like Trudeau has proposed many times. But it's like, who's gonna determine what's right to say and what's not? That's what you have to ask yourself. Who's gonna be the one determining what's legit and what's not, and what can be allowed and what can't? That's the question we have to think about.
You know what I started to do? I stopped giving a fuck.
I know, but it affects us though.
It does. It does. It affects us so much. It affects us even with the podcast when we do the podcast, because we have to be careful what we say, careful how we say stuff. But I'm just like, I'm at that point where I'm just like, there's no changing certain things. in a sense where people are gonna, they're like, people that love this cancel culture shit are gonna find a fucking way. For me, it's just like, bro, live my life. If I say something and it offends you, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
What's the worst you're gonna do? You're gonna fire me, bitch? I own my own company. You can't fire me.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
like,
one that lingers back to the financial freedom. That's a part of it.
You're gonna make me lose a client that because he doesn't like my way of thinking. I go fuck yourself. I'll get a new one.
Exactly.
I
talked about this with Anthony on the podcast
my business
too.
doesn't rely on one person.
Yeah.
My business is me and my team, right?
And that in itself, Zoe, is so powerful, man.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I'm not even going to talk about my work, but like the idea of having your financial freedom and then having the ability to be able to orient yourself with no real person that is like watching you, is like, oh, you can't say that, brother. Like, that's just you.
Bro, during this whole, like, if we can talk about the whole mask stuff and everything, bro, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I was like in my office, you guys want to wear them? Wear them. You don't. I don't. Like, I don't care. If you don't want to come, you want to work from home? Okay, then tell me if you're comfortable. Then go work from home. Like, I don't care. Live your fucking life. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
It's my business. The government telling me how to run my business. Go fuck yourself.
That's annoying, man. What the fuck is that?
Go fuck yourself. You're going to tell me what I can do in my space? I'm paying taxes, but I'm fine. Don't even get, that's another story.
Yeah, that's
pissed off
a
on,
lot of taxes,
but bro, go fuck yourself. It's my life. You don't fucking own me. We're not under a dictatorship. I'm not sitting here listening like fucking to what everyone has to say. Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Bro, by all means, you want to get vaccinated? Go fucking get vaccinated. You want to travel? I don't give a fuck. There's more, as I went back to my earlier point, by me going through what I went through, bro, and I see what people complain about, I have zero patience. That's why I don't give a fuck, because I have zero patience.
It goes in year one, out the other.
Because I sit there and I'm like, trust me, here and there, I'll take a social media, like, rude comment or a podcast, and it'll hurt me. I'll be like, this motherfucker said what?
Yeah, you know? Because it's a creative pursuit that it represents 100%, you, so it's like
but
offensive.
But like in general, like, bro, I look at all these problems and these wars, and I go on social media and I see all this. Like, I was having a talk with my girlfriend. I'm like, there's so much negativity. Every time I open up my social media, it's this person died, this happened, this person fucking place got bombed, this country's at war, this is what's going on. People are acting like, sorry, like, if it offends anybody, but people are acting like this whole Ukraine and Russia stuff is the first modern day war that just fucking happened. There's people been dying in the fucking world that are getting bombed left, right, center, but you're just not seeing it on the media.
That's the problem.
I've become numb to this, right?
Yeah,
where I'm just
that's
like,
the thing.
And someone said to me, oh, but the people are dying, this, that. I'm like, but people are fucking dying everywhere in the world.
I know.
Guys, like, I can't live my life on this whole mindset of death, fear, this, that. I've already seen it. I've been through it. I've been through hell and back. There's nothing worse that can happen now with the death of a immediate family member, anything that will phase me or even touch me a little bit, right? So that's why, like, bro, it's like I have this skin now where it's just like, I can't give a fuck about shit like this.
So sometimes you got to tune it out because it can be overwhelming, and that's the result of the mainstream media and a lot of the things that are happening right now. Because, you know, it's what they. So think about it. They decide what gets pumped into our fucking heads every single day, all the time, and that's what happens with the mainstream media, with social media, and places like Twitter. So hopefully,
bro, did you see how bad, like, bro, for 2 weeks straight, the whole world was talking about Will Smith smacking.
More than 2 weeks, bro. Like 4. But
Who
yeah.
did he smack again? What was the guy's name?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. And I'm like, really? Like, this is headlining news?
Oh, buddy, it was big. It was big shit.
Like, Will Smith smacked someone for talking shit about his... This is headlining fucking news right now. This is what every single person on social media is posting. You guys have sad lives, bro. I'm sorry, man. This is what you guys worry about. This is what you guys are... Kim Kardashian and Kanye broke up. She's talking to
Pete Davidson now.
Skeet. You can't say Skeet. Can't say Pete. Gotta say Skeet. But, like, I see shit like this, and I'm like, this is what you guys are entertained by? This is what you guys are worried about? Bro, you're crying about not having money or the housing market, whatever. You're crying about all this shit. But the only thing that you're interested about is what Kim Kardashian wore today. Or what Will Smith did on the Oscars. But you're not thinking about, how can I take this time to grow a business or do something or work on my self or anything, something that matters to me, right?
Yeah, it's what they call the slave mind. You know, it gives people a sense of entertainment. I see a lot of it too with like sports too. Like a lot of guys I know, they love the fantasy football and shit, and they love, you know, gambling and all that shit. But it provides it fills the gaps throughout the week, and it sustains somewhat of a purpose. And I think a lot of that is too, like to your point about like the Kim Kardashian and shit, and like the new E-Talk Daily and shit. Guys, it's a lot of noise, man. It's a lot of noise. And it's very distracting,
it's
bro.
Like, but bro, this is why there's only. This is why, like, hopefully this doesn't come out as fucking being egotistical or whatever. But this is why there's only a handful of successful people in the world, right? Because those people are not sitting back and seeing what the fuck happened at the Oscars on Sunday, right? They're waking up in the morning and getting on with their day in their office, grinding it out, calling clients, spending that 2 hours that you spend on reading a fucking ET post. They're spending that 2 hours on reading a book that's educating them on financial literacy or something important that.
Yeah.
And the thing where people say, "Oh, we'll figure it out. Oh, we'll figure it out. Oh, we have time." Life hits you fast, brother. Life hits you fast, you know? And these are crucial years. If you build your foundation now and you make the right investments, you hire a financial planner, have proper like real estate investments, etc. Enjoy. I fucking enjoy a lot. You know how much I enjoy. You see it, bro. Yeah. I party.
You're dipping tomorrow.
100%. I'm gone. I'll be back in like 2-3 weeks. But like, people like waste so much time on unnecessary stuff. If they just take that energy and they just put it in their work ethic, and they read a book, educate themselves, you know, just fucking. If they have an idea in their head, try it out. What's the worst that happens? It fails.
Yeah, that is.
You lose a couple $1,000. Shitty, but you learn so much from it, right?
Man, that's the real.
That makes sense.
And I think that's a real motif throughout this conversation is perspective. I think
1,000%.
that your perspective, it really plays a good role on how you orient yourself through life. Like right away through your perspective, through when you found out the news for the cancer, you know, you took the positive route and you said, I'm going to be determined to figure this out. And fucking big salute to you for doing that, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man.
And speaking of salute, Zoe, that's the last segment I have on Couple Casuals podcast. I call it salute, bro. Salute is the opportunity where I give to the guests to give a little cheers, a little salute, a little ching ching to the viewers, to the guests, and end us off on a high note.
100%, bro.
You can keep it short. You can keep it sweet. You can ramble on for 20 minutes if you want. It's up to you.
But the salute's going to be that what we have coming with the It's Simple podcast, us three, is going to be a game changer. And I'm so excited for everybody to see, like,
I'm looking forward to it big time.
We do this, like, we do this podcast stuff with a passion, you know. You see it. We're not in this for money. We're not in this for that fucking. We do it because we love it. It's something that we love, and all I'm saying is just, bro, just like when we started the podcast in the beginning, people thought we're fucking idiots. People look at us like, oh, these guys just trying to be famous, trying to be this, that. I don't give a fuck. You know, we are trying to create a platform that can change. But when we get those DMs from people that are like, bro, you motivated me to go get up and like educate myself or read a book, and like, you know, that you cheered my day up with your content. When we get these DMs of people saying it impacted them in a positive way, it's the most happiest thing ever. And then to end this off, bro, fuck what people think. Do what you want to do, but be smart, be wise, like choose, like, and that stuff that your parents say about you are who your closest 5 friends are, it's fucking 100% true. You got to know when to cut the people off, certain people off. You got to know when to exclude yourself from certain groups, because at the end of the day, bro, no one's going to hand you a fucking check. No one's going to come to your door and be like, here's $1 million, right? You don't want to live a life where you're living in fear, or you're scared about, you know, if a pandemic comes, if you have money to pay this, that, etc. You got to be, like, people need to wake the fuck up. You know, you guys got to realize that it's now. You do this at a young age. You build yourself up so you can enjoy life in the future, man.
Yes.
Life is not about work.
Sacrifice now for later.
Bro, by going to Europe, and I seen life there, and people are like, oh, but like, you have money, you come here. I'm like, aside from that, you guys don't have money, but yet you guys are still fucking happier than the guy I know back home that doesn't have money. Why is that? Because here we're programmed to just work till we die, bro.
ABR.
It's not the way to go, bro. There's so much more to life. Travel, experience it, and just never give up, bro. And if somebody tells you there's a slight chance of you accomplish something, bro, do it. That's,
Amazing. That's a big salute.
Bro.
Big salute
Peace
for my
out.
buddy
Yeah.
Zoe. Thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure, buddy.
Ching ching.
100%.
Salute.
Buddy. A couple casuals, #1 podcast.
Couple casuals, and it's simple podcast. Keep your eyes tuned, guys. I'm gonna drop all the Zoe's tags. Tell them where to find you quick.
Bro, fuck. Zohaib Aziz. Yeah, fuck. Simple. That's it.
And
Bro, follow us on the It's Simple podcast. That's what the
100%.
fuck I give a fuck about.
And I'm gonna
yeah.
tag that shit all below, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna keep it
100%.
simple. We're gonna keep it casual,
1000%.
and we're gonna be grinding to the moon this summer. Big year.
Yes, sir. Elon Musk, baby. Elon Musk.
Salute, guys.
Peace out.
Ciao.